Hello there, and welcome to today's episode of the Easy EdTech Podcast. My name is Monica Burns, and I am so glad that you're here to join me today. If you want to make the most of education technology, aka EdTech, well, you are in the right place. My goal has always been to help make EdTech easier and give you ideas you can try yourself, share with a colleague, or bookmark for later in the school year. Every Tuesday here on the Easy EdTech Podcast, you'll hear stories from my time in the classroom, the work I do now with schools and districts, and my travels to different EdTech events. Get ready for solo episodes where I share some quick tips and stories, and interviews full of practical ideas and stories from new guests each month. If we mention something you'd like to check out, make sure to click the link. You'll find it in the episode description or the summary area where you're listening to this podcast, or you can find every episode and all of the resources we mention by going to classtechtips.com/podcast, or by going to classtechtips.com and just clicking on the Easy EdTech Podcast button at the top of the page. This episode is sponsored by my Amazon storefront. I've pulled together more than a dozen lists of my favorite gifts, books, and spring cleaning items for educators. My collections on Amazon make it easy to find all of my books written by Easy EdTech Podcast guests, and so much more. Use the link classtechtips.com/Amazon to go straight to my Amazon storefront. That's classtechtips.com/Amazon. This week's episode is titled How to Keep Up with AI in Education Without Feeling Overwhelmed. Now, artificial intelligence is rapidly changing the way we think about teaching and learning. And we know that staying informed can feel overwhelming, particularly with all the new tools, research, and strategies that seem to be emerging all the time. So if you're looking for a reliable way to sort through, all of the latest developments, I have a handful of tips for you. In today's episode, you'll hear me mention my AI in Education membership. We'll kind of do a run through of it today and give you a behind the scenes look of what's included in there and some strategies that you might bring to your own groups of educators that you are supporting, or even just casually chatting about all the things that are happening in the world of AI. So about 2 years ago, I started this new membership. I've had my Easy EdTech Club for about 6 years now. Like July 2019 is when I started that one. This one was spring of 2023. So just about 2 years, I guess, this month for that group. It's a membership I started it's really low cost, just, trying to keep it close to that $10 mark a month. And it includes some handpicked resources and some strategies to help educators understand the role of AI in education, what's new. And so, as I mentioned, today we'll kind of take a behind the scenes look at the group and talk a little bit about some strategies you might replicate if you are working with others in this EdTech space too. So one way to try to not feel too overwhelmed about all the ways that AI in education is moving is to stay ahead of the curve. You might have a favorite newsletter. I know I send out some stuff on Mondays to educators. In my membership, I sort through content from lots of different sources and really focus in on the latest trends and tools and research, just so you don't have to track them down yourself. I make a quick under 20-minute video each month. That way, instead of feeling like all month long you're scrambling to keep up with what's new related to artificial intelligence and education, I sort through some of the noise. I curate the content and make sure that you have access to that new stuff each month. Now, another way to keep up with AI in education without hopefully feeling too overwhelmed is to have a resource library. So, one of the biggest perks of joining my membership is that you get instant access to all of the past content. That is 2 years and plus, depending on when you're listening to this episode, since the spring of 2023, whether it's AI-powered tools, classroom applications, and ethical considerations, research papers, which are great if you're exploring some of the news and insights related to AI in education, maybe in a graduate school environment too. So I've got all of that in there for you. And if that sounds like, 20 minutes times 2 years of content, right, for a new video update each month, you of course can watch them on double time. And I have audio versions in there too. Another way to keep up and stay informed is to review my curated list of AI tools and strategies. So there seems to be new tools daily in this space. It's something I hear from a lot of educators in my workshops and webinars. So each month I choose just 3 things. I give you a PDF with just some reasons why and kind of the how of getting started. And then I do a quick run through in my video update each month too. I call this just 3 things, and it's posted as a PDF that you can download and save to your device also. So you have it when you log into the membership, of course, but then you've got it as that extra to download. Now, you can strengthen your AI planning that you do, whether that's talking to fellow educators or just instructional planning for your students, with the ready-to-use resources that I share. So you'll receive links to articles, frameworks, planning documents as part of being in that membership. I reference lots of things each month. And then of course, those planning documents are the, just 3 things, and you get 24 of them as soon as you log in. So each month I share those new resources. And of course, you can look back at the past content to find everything I featured in the past too. Now, one thing that I love about online professional development opportunities is that many of them now are self-paced. And that's true of my AI and education membership. And I think that's a good way to not feel overwhelmed with all of the news and maybe even noise in the AI and education space, is knowing that you can really slow it down or choose your moment, put some time on a calendar on the day that works for you, and then dive in. And I know as a classroom teacher, I was always looking for flexible professional learning options. And this is definitely designed with that self-paced learning in mind. So I typically release the new content during the first week of each month, and then you can go through it whenever it fits your schedule. And of course, the good thing about having access to the past content once you log in is that you can see anything that you missed over the past few months too. Now, of course, memberships come in all shapes and sizes, and I tried to make sure mine is affordable and flexible. So it's under $10 per month. So trying to keep it low cost, whether you sign up for a single month and then check out all the things from the past, and then cancel, right? You can cancel anytime, of course, or you could sign up for a full year if you wanted to. I have some people who reach out about group enrollment or reach out about annual memberships, and that's always an option too. It's just something you have to email me, and then I can set up that whole group. Now, another thing that I try to do with this membership, and even with my Easy Ed Tech Club, which is not AI focused, it's more general when it comes to education technology, is that I make sure it's minimal on the emails. You might already get a lot of emails, and instead of sending you a newsletter every day with like what's new in AI, you'll just get that one extra email a month, which is really a reminder that new content is ready and available for you. And of course, the last thing that I try to do to make sure things feel manageable is the professional learning certificate that you get. So if your school or district recognizes the self-paced or independent professional learning, you can download my monthly certificates of completion. So I try to make it easy for you to just hit that download button. You can fill out your name and info and then have that proof of participation for each month that you're a member. And you can actually access certificates all the way back to spring of 2023. So you could get almost 2 years worth of professional learning certificates if you dive into the older content. So I wanted to take you today in this short episode, a little bit of a behind the scenes look at my AI in Education membership. If you go to the landing page, I'll link to it here in the show notes. You'll just see that join now button, or of course you could always reach out to me if you have questions too. So if you're looking to replicate some of these strategies, you might also decide that you want to have some self-paced content for your colleagues. Maybe you know they won't be able to attend a webinar or meeting you're leading, so you record it instead. Or maybe you know that they're feeling a bit overwhelmed with all of the AI tools and resources out there, so you suggest just one thing for them to try out. So hopefully you'll get some ideas and inspiration from the membership if you do decide to join. I know some people have the have to join by this day, but I try not to do that too much. I don't want to add any extra stress. So you should be able to join in whenever you're listening to this episode. So let's make this EdTech easy with a few key points from today's episode. Stay ahead of AI trends with curated monthly insights and resources. Access a library of past AI content, tools, and strategies. Learn at your own pace with a flexible, low-cost membership, and earn professional learning certificates that connect to your AI and education goals. Remember, you can find the show notes and full list of resources from today's episode by heading to easyedtechpodcast.com and finding today's episode, number 320. This episode is sponsored by my Amazon storefront. I've pulled together more than a dozen lists of my favorite gifts, books, and spring cleaning items for educators. My collections on Amazon make it easy to find all of my books written by Easy EdTech podcast guests, and so much more. Use the link classtechtips.com/Amazon to go straight to my Amazon storefront. That's classtechtips.com/Amazon. Thank you for listening to this new episode of the Easy EdTech podcast. I love creating new episodes for you each week, but I could use a bit of help spreading the word about the podcast. Can you leave a rating or review on your favorite podcast app? Spotify will let you tap on the stars, and Apple Podcasts will let you tap on the stars and leave a 1 or 2 sentence review. Thank you so much for taking this extra step. It helps other educators find episodes like this one when they're searching for EdTech tips.